धन्यवाद सूरत लिट फेस्ट का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. It is an honor to be here with I don't know whether I should say Your Honor or or just Sir or Mr. Ranjan Gogoi, because I have never done this with any former Chief Justice earlier. So this is an honor for me to be just sitting here with you, sir. And I hope, I don't want to be a typical journalist. I want to be just a sort of a conversant with your magnificent journey from northeastern part of India, from Dibrugarh to New Delhi, to the highest judicial post as far as Indian state is concerned. Looking back at that journey, how do you see it, sir?
Mr. Ketkar, you call me by my name. I have a name. And you are a very seasoned journalist, writing for editing a very old magazine, which I read as a student. I don't know why I read the Organiser, but I read it. I read two magazines as a young student, the Blitz and the Organiser. Don't ask me why I did it. Now the honor is entirely mine. But let me ask you a question. I have this habit of asking the interviewer a question. It's a bad habit. Are we interacting or are you interviewing me?
No, I said I'm just in conversation with you.
Right.
So I will not interrogate. I don't want to, and I have no, neither the capacity nor the authority to interrogate. No. So
you see, as a lawyer, I must know the brief.
Yeah.
Right. We always study the brief. Okay. So far as the journey is concerned, I don't think I would like to talk about the journey because I don't look back. I look ahead. And I wouldn't like to go back, but I would like to go ahead to 2047, 100 years. Where we were 50 years back is something that's not as important कि हम 2047 में कहाँ पहुंचेंगे.
For last 50 years, sir, 50 वर्षों से या शायद उससे पहले से ही एक पॉपुलर नैरेटिव भी है और एक कॉमन मैन के लिए कंसर्न भी है कि जब वो वकीलों को देखता है, न्यायपालिका को देखता है, जुडिशियरी को देखता है, तो एक ही डायलॉग याद आता है, तारीख पे तारीख. More than 3.5 crore cases, pendency is increasing. If we want to go ahead, move ahead, and 2047 scenario, one, how do you see this? And what would be your remedy so that we can at least reduce the pendency and common man's faith कि नहीं मुझे जल्दी मिल सकता है, मेरे लाइफ टाइम में मिल सकता है न्याय, ये कॉन्फिडेंस इंस्टिल हो. What would be your suggestion for this way forward?
I will come back. I'll come back to that question a little later because ये बहुत गंभीर प्रश्न है and nobody has a ready-made solution for it. But आपने कहा common man's perception of the judiciary. Ketkar साहब, how would you say as a common man, you want to give me an orange, तो आप क्या बोलोगे आप क्या बोलोगे as a layman, what would you say?
ऑरेंज चाहिए.
orange. Do you want to know what a lawyer will say? I think I have that in my mobile. Give me a minute.
That's why Bar Association decided to felicitate you first.
See, a lawyer will say something like this. I hereby give and convey to you, all and singular, my estate and interests, rights, claim, title, and advantages in the said orange, together with its juice, pulp, and seeds, and all rights and advantages with full power to bite, to cut, to freeze, and otherwise to eat the same, or give the same away with and without the pulp, the juice, and seeds, anything herein before or hereinafter, or in any deed or deeds, instrument of whatever nature or kind whatsoever, to the contrary, in any wise notwithstanding. So the lawyer is giving an orange.
Whose drafting is this, sir?
I don't know. I don't know. Public prosecutors साहब बैठे हुए हैं. कोर्ट में ऐसे ही चतला है ना. This is what. So this is the common man's perception of the judiciary. Right? Now I come to your main question. 3.45 crores case नहीं, 5 crore है. Is 5 crores. When I demitted office in 2019, it was 3 crores. Today it is 5 crores. Now, you asked a question. इसका समाधान कैसे होगा? How do we tackle this problem? No Chief Justice of India after retirement has entered public life or political life. I consciously chose it. And I boldly chose it. And you know, Ketkar साहब, मैं जब parliament जाता हूँ, and I go to parliament every day, be it for 1 hour. I get taps on my back. गोगोई साहब, एक सवाल है. जजेस इतना टाइम क्यों लगाते हैं केस सुनने में? इतना समय क्यों लगता है टू डिस्पोज ऑफ अ केस? एंड ये जो 3-4 करोड़ केसेस है, ये कब खत्म होगा? सेम क्वेश्चन यू आस्किंग. I wish I had an answer. What I can tell you is, this problem is not unsolvable. It is solvable. But it requires the will, इच्छा, हिम्मत. देखिए, 5 करोड़ केसेस में मतलब का केस, केसेस ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंस, केसेस ऑफ सब्सटेंस, कितने जिंदा है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम आर अलाइव? टाइम वेट्स फॉर नो वन. one litigant or the other has died. His legal heirs are not interested. ये जो dead cases है, along with the dead clients, constitute a good proportion of these cases. देश में सबसे समस्या है, the most important problem is the criminal cases. Recently I had an interaction, of course informally, with some judges of the biggest high court of this country, Allahabad High Court. They are doing criminal appeals which are 40 years old, which means when the offense was committed, the man must say he is 30. Today he is 75 to 80. ये केसेस चल रहे हैं और ये केसेस चल नहीं रहे हैं, ये केसेस एजेंट हो रहे हैं. क्यों? पुलिस का रिपोर्ट आता है कि 5 अक्यूज में से 4 मर गए, लेकिन एक के बारे में पता नहीं है. सिंस ऑफिशियली एक जिंदा है, ये केस आप क्लोज नहीं कर सकते हो. So what you require is a systematic study कि 1 लाख क्रिमिनल अपील्स जो है पेंडिंग से इन इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट, इसमें से कितने लाइव इश्यूज है, लाइव केसेस है. ये एक्सरसाइज नहीं हुआ है और इसको कैसे शुरू किया जाए, कैसे अंत किया जाए, कैसे कैरी आउट किया जाए, इसमें कोई डिस्कशन नहीं होता है. Whenever, and I say this with all the responsibility at my command, Mr. Ketkar, कोई भी फोरम, कोई भी टीवी चैनल, कोई भी मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया इंटरव्यू, कोई भी पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म में जब जुडिशरी के बारे में डिस्कशन होता है, आप डिस्कस करते हो कॉलेजियम सिस्टम ऑफ अपॉइंटमेंट, आप डिस्कस करते हो द पावर ऑफ द जुडिशरी ओवररीचिंग, trenching on the power of the parliament and the executive. Between parliament and judiciary, who is supreme? ये सब issues में चर्चा होता है. ये 5 करोड़ केसेस कैसे हल किया जाए इस प्रॉब्लम को, इस पे चर्चा आज तक नहीं हुआ है. कोई white paper has not been published. Nobody seems to be, pardon me, interested. But to my mind, as I have said earlier, it's a solvable problem. And I think the head of the judicial family, the Chief Justice of India, should take the initiative. I had suggested one way out. Find out which are the cases which are alive. अगर आप 5 करोड़ में से 50 लाख केसेस आर डेड, यू वुड बी न्यूमेरिकली मोर कंफर्टेबल. 50 लाख केस कम हो गया. ये जो 5 करोड़ केसेस है, इसमें एवरी ईयर, एवरी मंथ 50,000 केसेस ऐड होते हैं. दीज केसेस आर पेटी केसेस, ट्रैफिक ऑफेंसेस वगैरह वगैरह. ये नेशनल जुडिशियल डेटा ग्रिड में क्यों आना चाहिए? हार्डली कंटेस्टेड केसेस है, इसको निकाल दो. आप 50,000 ट्रैफिक चालान केसेस आज खत्म करते हो, अगले महीने 50,000 फिर आ जाते हैं. तो ये नंबर कमेगा नहीं, नंबर रहेगा. बट आप, इफ यू आस्क मी, केटकर साहब and the audience, I don't think the problem is that difficult to solve. Yes, it is a problem. But I think given the right kind of attitude, given the right kind of approach, it is an eminently solvable problem, provided you want to solve it.
If by 2047, seeing the trajectory of next 25 years, हमको यदि ये प्रॉब्लम एड्रेस करना है, तो क्या ऐसे 2-3 स्टेप्स हो सकते हैं? मतलब इवन एज अ लेजिस्लेचर कैन बी, मीडिया ऑफ कोर्स यू इंडिकेटेड दैट we can responsibly investigate and do some stories regarding that. These are some of the ways. But what other steps you could suggest, seeing from the judiciary point of view, because you have seen both the sides, the legislative side you are now seeing, and the judiciary side you have experienced in your life. So, what steps would you suggest in next 25 years so that by 2047 people feel at least, मतलब हिंदी फिल्मों के लिए सर कम से कम तारीख पे तारीख ये डायलॉग ना रहे.
See, 2047 is 22 years ahead. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but if the judicial system continues in the same way, then there are serious difficulties. Either you reform and survive, or you don't survive. Now, so far as the legislature is concerned, what can it do? See, I am not suggesting that it should be done or it can be done, but this is something that can be explored. That this category of cases which have remained pending for so many years and which is not making any progress because either the accused is not to be found or for some certain other reasons, I close them. Band kar do. There was this great Roman emperor, Confucius. He burnt all the law books and said, let us rewrite the law. Now, I'm not suggesting that, but if the problem is serious, the answer has to be also equally determined. So far as the judiciary is concerned, I think more than the legislature, the judiciary has to set its own house in order. Legislature, instead of passing a law, suppose the high courts, under the able supervision of the Supreme Court, authorizes closure of certain category of cases which have no meaning. ये तारीख के बाद तारीख जो हो रहा है, this is because of some technical error, some technical problem. That's why the case cannot be heard. ये जो तारीख के बाद तारीख चल रहा है, ये cases close कर दो. And should the technical problem resolve itself, ये cases को फिर से life देना चाहिए, give it, resurrect it, give it. But for the time being, close it. Criminal cases, particularly criminal trials. हमारे देश में criminal trials में ज्यादा time नहीं लगते हैं. जो trial होता है, ये 3 to 4 years, of course, even 3 to 4 years is not tolerable. 3 to 4 years में trial खत्म हो जाता है. Even in a state like UP. The problem is with the high courts. ये आके वहाँ पे appeals get stuck for years. And then the man has been convicted by the trial court, say for a murder charge. High court will not give him bail, maybe rightly. High court does not hear the matter. After 20 years, the High Court tells him, you are innocent. Suppose he comes back and says, give me back my 20 years. What answer do we have? What answer does the system have? So let us not create situations which we cannot handle. So 2047, next 22 years, I am not even thinking of 22 years. Next 22 years, I won't be here. But I'm not thinking in terms of 22 years, I'm thinking in shorter term. See, a man has to be told as quickly as possible whether he is guilty of the offences alleged. A family has to be told that your right to property is this. Ketkar Sahab, I pose a problem. 5 crore cases pending hai. Take it that 2 crores, one side is the government. Now, 3 crores, this side, that side. 6 crores. And government जो एक side में है, उसमें another 3 crores, 9 crores litigants. Each litigant has a family of, say, 5. 45 crores of the Indian population are stuck in litigation. Has anybody realized this? Has this issue been raised in any forum? 45 crores, which is 1/3 of India's population, is stuck in perpetual litigation. This is the importance of having a good judicial system. Judicial system is not about collegium, who has the power of appointment. Judicial system is not about whether the Supreme Court has exceeded its powers in interfering, passing this order, that order. These things are important, but this doesn't happen every day. But 45 crores of the Indian population is stuck up in perpetual litigation, which is given to the next generation. इसका क्या solution है? ये आपको, you don't have to wait till 2047 to find a solution. You have to get it tomorrow. For that, there are able, industrious and sincere minds in this country. Put them to work. The solution to a problem depends on your eagerness to solve the problem. If you want to solve the problem, all problems are eminently solvable. There is no problem in this world which cannot be solved if you want it to be. If you don't want it to be, I have nothing to say.
As a, former Chief Justice, forget about just the numbers, but overall justice delivery system. If I have to, know your opinion now as a retired Chief Justice, what would be the 3 important judicial reforms that you would suggest so that the justice becomes more, as they say, it should be seen as delivered. People feel that it is delivered. So making it more we the people centric, as the Constitution says.
I don't think you need 3. There is only 1. Get good people to become judges. And by good people, you know what I mean.
Do you think, sir, this entire exercise of one is, of course, good people, and I will come back to that, because there seems to be a lot of problem from the way, from the lower judiciary also, the way people are coming, or people who are coming from the legal side, practicing lawyers, and coming to the... So what do you mean by good people? How would you define a good judge or a good lawyer for that matter? Who drafts the, the orange case where a common man will never understand?
By good people, I mean the same good people that Ketkar Sahab has in mind. Am I to understand that Ketkar Sahab doesn't know who are good people? Am I to understand that each one in the audience don't know what is a good people, who's a good man, who's a good person? Dhundo, jada nahi, you need just 1 lakh. The total number of judges in this country today are about 24,000. raise that figure to 1 lakh. And get 1 lakh good people out of 140 crores. People who mean business. These are good people. You debate, you pass laws, you give bhashan, you do your recruitment, kuch nahi hoga. Take the entry point for judiciary. The judge with whom the layman comes into contact. He's a civil judge. He will be at an average age, would be 25. 25, he's a civil judge. He has the power to attach your property. मेरे अगेंस्ट में एक defamation case हुआ था असम में. Okay. A 23-year-old civil judge said there are substantial questions of law in this. Therefore, I issue summons to the former Chief Justice of India. Whether he's right or wrong, I don't know. Of course, the party withdrew that defamation case. But this is his power. A magistrate who is 23 years old can detain a person for 5 years in prison. And Ketkar Saab, prison is not a very comfortable place. Jail is not a very comfortable place. And I have not been to jail, but I have been on jail inspections. That's why I say. Okay. Now look at the power he has got. 25 years old. 5 साल के लिए जेल भेज देगा. तो how does he come to occupy that chair? He sits in an examination which consists of 1 or 2 law papers, general knowledge, general aptitude, current affairs, essay, all in English. All in English, mostly. Then he faces 2 High Court judges who interview him, who ask him about America and who ask him about the economy and who ask him about it. And then he becomes a judge. You have never endeavored to find out what is this man's true character. Is he compassionate? Is he kind? Is he a good man? Does he have a mission in life? No, these are not the criteria. The criteria is how beautifully you have crafted your essay and how well you have talked in your interview. ये आपके सिविल जजेस होते हैं, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट जजेस बनते हैं, जो हाई कोर्ट जजेस बनते हैं. नहीं होगा सुधार. Find out 1 lakh people, young and old, because the High Court, you have to find a little oldish people. And I assure you there are enough of them. Make it an honest exercise. This judge is my man, this judge is their man, this judge is, writes good English, he speaks good English, ये सब नहीं. Good man. Find out. आपका system दौड़ेगा.
Besides good people, sir, people say you require good laws also. Laws. Yeah. What is your assessment? ये जो अभी भारतीय दंड संहिता, न्याय संहिता, ये सब जो आया है, ये कितना facilitate करेगा इस process को? What is your assessment?
See, the Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, Evidence Act, 100 साल बाद has been now altered. नया नाम दिया हुआ है. The cases that are going on under the old law will go on under the old law. Cases under the new law are very limited. तो ये at the moment, what is happening is really an experiment in the field. There are good features, there are bad features in these new laws. Let me not talk about the bad features. I'll talk about the good features. Let me be positive and not negative. You know, good features में आपके penal code में जो community punishment, community service for petty offences, crimes against women and children. Some crimes have been made gender neutral. These are very positive. These are very positive steps. Evidence Act में जो DNA
Use of technology.
then setting up of director of prosecutions in every district. Then expert evidence gets more credence. ये सारे positive steps हैं. So, you see, ये अम्बेडकर साहब ने कहा था और ये पार्लियामेंट में हमेशा अरुण जेटली साहब कहा करते थे कि that very, very famous that if you have good people, and I mean good people, if you have good people, a bad constitution or a bad law will work. If you have bad people, a good law will not work. The problem is not with the laws. The problem is in the mind. You're heading a weekly magazine which has a circulation of 50,000-60,000. Readership is about over 5 lakhs. I appeal to you, and I appeal to the media, whoever may be present. In fact, I appeal to each member of the audience. Let us clear our minds. Let us remove the cobwebs from the mind. The mind controls everything else. I think with a positive mindset, everything is possible. And with a negative mindset, even the possible things become impossible.
Thank you. Thank you for those positive words, sir. Our constitution has, through directive principles, has given one important, task for the future generations that was in 1949, and now we have completed 75 years, which was related to Uniform Civil Code or National Civil Code, whichever we want to call it. High courts and Supreme Court also has, in various judgments, passed certain remarks about the need for Uniform Civil Code. Still, there seems to be no clarity and consensus about, otherwise, which looks very common sense issue that if your criminal laws are common, why can't your civil laws be common? So ultimately, it is marriage, divorce, succession, and inheritance. How do you see this? And is there any way forward in successfully going for the Uniform Civil Code in a democracy which is supposed to be a precondition?
Ketkar Sahab, I see the Uniform Civil Code as a very progressive piece of legislation, which will replace diverse customary practices that has evolved into law. There is no quarrel that is a constitutional goal. It is in Article 44. So that is the goal. And one day,
We
we'll
have
get
to
it.
we have to attain that.
Now, I think it is a very important step towards national integration. Uniform civil code. The people of this country have one code. National integration to achieve social justice.
Gender justice.
Yes, social justice would include
Gender justice.
gender justice. And let us be clear on one thing. It does not come into conflict with Article 25 and 26, which is the right to religion. It does not come. Because as you yourself said, the Uniform Civil Code will touch what? Adoption, marriage, divorce, inheritance. It is working wonderfully in Goa. The Portuguese Civil Code. It's working wonderfully in Goa. And therefore, I think what needs to be done, Ketkar Saab, according to me, is consensus building and check the misinformation. It's nothing to do with religion. Now, and the Supreme Court, in 5 cases, not one, starting with Shabanu, in 5 cases have said, what are you doing about the Uniform Civil Code? The highest court of this land has said that you must get it on board. Right? Of course, the Supreme Court could not have and will not pass any direction. But it has expressed its opinion. It is the only way to bring the nation together. Today you have diverse practices, customs, culminating into law, governing civil matters, personal matters, affecting social justice. A nation can't afford to have so many laws. And look at the practical side of it. Implementation of laws. You yourself said, what is the way forward to tackle the pendency? This could be one. This could be a huge advancement. Now, but I would request the government and the parliamentarians, don't rush into it. Build up a consensus. Tell the people of this nation what Uniform Civil Code really is. And then once you build up the consensus, people understand. One section of people will never understand. They will pretend not to understand. Forget that. But by and large,
So
people will understand.
we can have our diversity, we can practice our customs and still have Uniform Civil Code. And that is the way we need to educate and sensitize people about.
Of course. Diversity is the beauty of a nation. Right? And look at our country. I don't think there is any other country as diverse in terms of nature's gift from the northeast to Kerala to Kashmir. No other country is as diverse in terms of language, in terms of customs, in terms of practices. Diversity will always be there. Nobody is going to wipe out anything and cast everything in a single mold. That is misinformation. That's why I say, in fact, I appeal to the lawmakers, don't jump into it. Build up a consensus.
Another sensitive issue, sir, as you come from Assam, and I would not just ask you as a former Chief Justice, but the Supreme Court in another issue has passed strict, not just in some cases even judgments, but observations. That is the issue of illegal migration. And you have seen that what has happened in Assam, what is happening in Bengal, perhaps in coming days even in Bihar. IMDT Act was one critical issue that Assam has faced, and then Sarbanand Somwal case as, post 2005-6. Are we going to deal and address this issue? Because our constitution has certain citizenship provisions and we have certain, and now especially after the volatile situation around the country, now the situation is not just about the, humanitarian ground, but also the security situation, which even recently court has observed in one of the cases. So there have been talks about, detect, detain, deport kind of solutions. But how do you see this? How should we address this problem?
I'll try and answer your question in a little different way. Sitting judges don't discuss pending matters in public platforms. You agree? Retired judges should not discuss their judgments in public platforms. Do you agree? I have authored the NRC judgment.
I know.
In my autobiography, I have said I supervised that case. I presided over the bench from court number 13 of the Supreme Court, the junior most court, to court number 1 of the Supreme Court, the senior most court. 7 years I presided over the bench and passed about 700 orders in the NRC matter. I don't think I should be talking about it.
We just hope somebody takes inspiration from you and then process continues.
I tell you, Ketkar Sahab, it's very difficult to resist temptations. Humans get tempted. You are tempting me. Right? But I am a disciplined judge. I have learned my discipline. I will keep quiet on this issue.